Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another Below Deck podcast. My name is Dylan. That is Pat.
Permission to come aboard.
What are you looking at?
I was looking at the clock.
Oh, 19, 20, 21, 22. Hey, how you doing?
Doing great.
Good. Do you want to...
What?
Do you want to ask me?
Ask you what?
How I'm
how are you, Dylan?
I'm pretty good.
Good to hear.
So, patreon.com/another podcast network is where you can get Summer House. That's a fun show.
Oh, my God. It's a show about nothing. Yeah. It's wonderful.
Yeah. It's like Seinfeld, but not as good.
Mm-hmm. And on this feed, you can also listen to The Valley, a show about a drug addict and his marriage falling apart.
China. The Valley, one of the darker reality TV shows we've ever had.
They better pivot off that. Pivot. I don't want my reality TV to be that dark.
It's dark.
Yeah. I want him in rehab and then get to the couples.
I felt bad because I thought the last episode was hilarious. And it is really hilarious. But when there's a kid involved, it's not so funny and it gets very dark. But we're having a blast talking about it.
You know, I hadn't noticed, but you pointed out in one of our social media clips that the theme song is all right.
Yeah.
Everybody's all right.
Yeah, it's like a failing mantra.
Yeah. Because the main cast member is going to rehab, so everything clearly is not all right.
No, I'd say that's pretty close to the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. But you can hear that on this feed. Listen to Summerhouse, patreon.com/another podcast network. Reviews, we'll do them at the end. They're flooding in. We love them. They're flooding in. We love them. Thank you.
Let's finally get to 2,000. Help us out.
Yeah, let's go ahead and punch through that brick, Mario. Pat.
Yes.
Thoughts, pots. We're there, right?
Yeah. I was not happy with this episode. A lot happened, but nothing happened.
Yeah.
Just a lot going on. We have, of course, the mental warfare that's taking place between Lara and Tsarina. We have some new romances blossoming.
Yeah, couple of nerds.
We have some charter guests wanting a seafood extravaganza.
Yeah.
Definitely wouldn't be on my preference sheet. I'll tell you that right now. I don't like sea bugs. Neither do you.
Okay, so let's say you're put on a boat and it's sea bugs or hot dogs for the entire charter.
Now, I was just at Dodger Stadium yesterday.
You didn't dare.
If they gave them away for free. Now, my wife, she doesn't listen to me apparently because she said, this dad over here, Jesse, he also got food poisoning from a Dodger dog. So I make my way over to him. I go, Jesse, you got food poisoning from a Dodger dog? He goes, no. I ate 9 of them one time as a dare. And I was like, did you throw up? I said, no. I won $20. I was like, thanks, Shuri.
Thank you. You know, I am so proud of you because the conviction that you display, and we'll get to the show, the conviction you display at Chavez Ravine, because so many people have eaten the dreaded dog and have been worse for wear. Yet every time we come back, it is like the worst siren song of all time. It's a steamed tube of fucking flesh that gives you blood bud.
Yeah, and here's the words of the wise. Never buy a Dodger dog in the 9th inning. That sucker was the first dog created earlier that morning, God forbid, the day before, put in an aluminum bag and put at the bottom of a box, and you will then buy it for $11, consume it, and then pray to God that you pray that he just takes
survive.
Your soul.
Yeah. You know? It's crummy lotto when you eat these dogs. But anyway, so
I'm going to give this I'm not going to give it 2. I'm going to give it 5 knots. It wasn't good. You know, we're getting to that point in the season. This season has given us a lot, and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, it's a wonder. You know, I'm a little torn because William is a toxic human being who's maybe not making the women uncomfortable yet, but he's definitely like, he was laying waste to the minds of really everybody aboard that vessel. So you can't keep that around, but when you have a grenade like that, it really does ramp up the drum of the show.
It's the problem with storytelling. Once you kill the villain, where do you go with the story, man? That's how, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, they added like 30 minutes on the end of that bullshit. And I'm like, what am I watching here? Well, the bad guy's dead, right? Why am I going back to that land with the little people?
The tricky thing, it's because it's the end. It's the return to normalcy, and it's a vitally important part of the story. It also won 11 Academy Awards, and it's just like I don't agree with you, but I'll tell you what.
Oh, this thing's still playing. Wake me up when the credits start.
You know what? That's what Blair Witch did so good. You watch the whole fucking thing because you haven't seen the bad guy yet, and then at the very end, you see the bad guy. Kind of. Yeah. Okay, so you gave it 5. I give it 6.
On a good note, we will be interviewing Brianna
Big Red
this week, and we still have time. Get in our Facebook group if you haven't signed up for our Facebook group yet, another Below Deck podcast, and put in your question there. I don't have any questions, so I'll just be using yours. And please use phonetics to give your name. I'm going to botch it otherwise.
Yeah. And I don't know if you can do that on Facebook. Yeah, if you want to write how we say your names. But no, we have tons of questions for Bree. We're very excited. Do you think we should drop sea rats during the in-person interviews?
Drop them? What do you mean drop them?
Stop calling them sea rats.
Oof. Well, you've gotten us in a little hot water when you refer to them out of the gate. Do you remember that one? That girl from season 1, you said, when you first started being a sea rat, she said, what did you call me?
It is quite insulting.
Yeah. And I said, it's a term of endearment. And I think she left the call early.
Yeah, she had some space shit to do.
Right.
Okay, let's get to the episode. Last one. I feel like last episode was a little bit of a poop episode, too. We had Nick the Nerd getting a kiss, and we had that kind of acrid Lara versus Tsarina stuff.
And we're still there at this club level.
Oh, absolutely. And we're fighting about the plates.
Which is Looney Tunes. But, Dylan, it really goes much deeper than that. Because an outsider would see it and go, are they fucking arguing about fucking plates? No.
Yeah.
The reality is Lara thinks Tsarina's being difficult, which one could argue she is. And then Tsarina thinks Lara's sticking her nose where it doesn't belong in her department, which one could also argue that's happening.
And it pains me, it really does, that Lara was so right about those plates. She was. Those plates were disgusting. Mm-hmm. They were not Mafia Wife. Okay, so Bree and Lara head off to the bathroom after her chat with Tsarina. This is called Club Level?
That's right.
Okay.
Boy, very inventive names.
Yeah. Well, they don't have to be inventive. They just have to be vaguely sexy.
Ice.
Yeah. Put that on your nipple. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of night you could have.
Yeah, we sang at a club called Premiere.
Right. The best. It's essentially saying we're the best. Mm-hmm. What was the one that was really popular?
Supper Club.
Wow.
They used to, clear my throat. On a Friday night, I'd watch them wheeling in like live lions for entertainment in there, man.
Where
place
was
that? Popping off. Hollywood Boulevard.
What's the one on Crescent and Sunset?
Oh, well, that's been a bunch of things. I think it's currently called Paradigm.
See, that's the perfect type of name that I'm talking about. But that place was cool. I mean, Heidi Montag used to go there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
All those people.
Yeah. So we're in the bathroom. There's probably somebody who is just trying to do cocaine. And in come Big Red and Lara. And Lara is hair and Big Red are split up here. And they're getting two sides of the war. But we then move on to Nate and Alicia.
Oh, yes. This was interesting for me, Dylan. Well, first, Nick and Marina are dancing the night away. And then Alicia is realizing at this very moment that Nate is the type of guy that she could date. And Johnny Who, any port in a storm, Dylan thinks that's crass.
No.
Okay.
No.
But...
No.
She does refer to Johnny, and I quote, as a guy that she kissed on the boat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if she had said, my Greek love was here before you, he would have been like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But she could have said I was dating someone that I was kind of into, but he got fired because he was punching a wall.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the story gets really very convoluted at that point.
Yeah.
But
they were cabinets. He punched cabinets.
that's true.
Yeah.
Dylan, quick personal story. You've heard it before, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
In college, I was flying across the country 2 times a year, back and forth for Christmas break, summer break. Anyway, I was always at Logan Airport, and then I'd have to fly into Reno Airport in Nevada. And one year...
And Reno's gross.
Disgusting. One year, it's the biggest little city in the world, Dylan. What it is, Vegas's
not by any metric.
Gross little cousin that no one likes to mention.
Yeah, it's not. Is it Did you say it's the biggest little city?
That's their claim to fame.
Okay, yeah, that's what they call themselves.
Yes.
Right. Well, you can't say like knee fungus and death. You know, that's a bad slogan.
It'd be bad on a billboard that you're driving
horrible.
Underneath. Well, one year, I think it was my sophomore year, I see these 2 people going at it. It's a girl and a guy, leg wrap around, crying.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, these 2.
I know.
Anyway, the girl gets on the plane with me. She's sitting a few rows in front of me. Very attractive girl. And we get off the plane in Nevada. And this was back before 9/11, and people could greet you when you come out of the plane.
Sure, yeah.
Boy, she does a run, jump, toddler jump, leg rock around, starts fucking sticking tongues down. I thought they were going to bang each other on the disgusting carpet.
No way. She loves so much.
And that's when I realized, it's... Yeah.
She was a hoa.
Well, we can move on very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you have to find the meaningful love, and then the leg wraparounds will... be stuck to one person, But you know what? Polyamory is all the rage nowadays.
It
people,
is.
These fucking Gen Alphas, they're spitting in everybody's mouths.
Oh.
So I hear on Newsweek or something.
Yeah. They're having a good time.
Okay, so we hit the vans. One car is fun car, pizza car, and the other is lame car,
complaining car.
Yeah.
Is that the car that Lara was in and she's still defending her position about those plates?
Well, you know what? Something that we didn't note, she's really ripshit pissed about being called a stewardess.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if
that's like an au pair being called like a babysitter. It's like, not really.
Yeah. A lot of people have been calling Captain Jason this season. I don't know if you've caught that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't go over well with Captain Sandy.
Yeah.
One girl got fired a couple seasons back because she said, Sandy, I understand where you're coming from. She said, what did you call me?
Oh, yeah. I remember her. Millie Illicit's sworn enemy.
That's right, Alyssa.
Yeah. Okay, so we hit the boat. Harry and Big Red are still... Hey, have they freaking porked each other yet, you think?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
We'll ask her on Wednesday.
No, we won't.
Well, we're not going to ask her. I'll say, Christina hold on, let me see here. Marina
we love you,
wants
Christina.
to know, have you and Harry knocked boots yet? So you just put it in someone else's, make someone else ask the question.
All right. Well.
All right. Now, Dylan,
we got to lose that or C-Rat to her face. We got to lose one of those.
One of them. Fair enough. All right, so Tsarina and Lara continue to ignore each other despite the fact that they're sleeping in very close quarters.
Yeah,
where you can actually feel the vibration if someone burps very loud. I don't know if.
Well, you can also feel the darkness. I mean, imagine laying next to your enemy and shutting your eyes. You could see them clear as day. You know what I mean?
Or your wife when you're fighting all night.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a yucky thing.
Oh, you're like, oh my God, we're not going to resolve this tonight. Jesus,
it's like a furnace. It's a furnace. Okay, so long pause. Hang on, super long pause. Tsarina and Lara. Oh my gosh, my favorite part of the episode.
What was that?
Okay, so I am so sorry that took so long. That was ridiculous. So we have this Marina and Nick the nerd thing.
Well, yeah, but they're both nerds now, Dill, because she watches The Hobbit.
Okay, so we love Marina. She's fun. She's got a great attitude. You know?
She's the one that I think I most connect with on the boat, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah. I'd love to get a beer with Marina. But The Hobbit is not really anything that nerds actually watch. It is a blemish in what is otherwise, the Holy Trinity. And the other thing that she said was that she wanted to play Mario. Which I think that's probably like the most popular guy ever, probably. I think jocks play Mario. So
I think the point you're making here, Dylan, is one that we've had to. It's been a common refrain in the podcast. Okay, so what we're saying is those aren't nerds.
Those are not nerds.
Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Like the dragon steel theory. My only question is, how would you get so much dragon steel into a moon? Because it seems like there's a fairly significant amount.
Adonalsium core. Crashing.
Adonalsium did it.
Yep. And there's always like the is dragon steel Adonalsium's god metal, if such a thing makes sense for Adonalsium.
Those are nerds.
The one, I don't know if it's, I don't know which one it is.
He gets me too every time. Just a nerd voice.
He got the other ones too. Like they speak up. He's like, Adonalsium didn't. They're like, Jesus Christ. Those are nerds. All right?
You're not nerds. Stop saying
You're not nerds. Next morning. We have a chat with Tsarina and Alicia. It goes over well. Tsarina does this thing where there's a lurchiness to her. You know what I mean? Like they'll get into a conversation and there's a lurch first. You know what I mean? Like I know that you've been dominated psychically by Lara, and we have to contend with it. It's like, whoa.
Well, something happens here, Dylan, that isn't common on this boat.
Yeah.
We get an apology out of Tsarina.
Yeah.
Usually the beef ends with the sea rat rationalizing their horrible behavior, and then they move on to either smoking cigarettes or tossing into one another.
Yeah, or both.
Yeah. In this case, it's something different. An apology, a heartfelt apology.
Yeah, it is crazy that you bring up smokes because I think this may be our first daytime conflict resolution like this.
It's nice to see.
We're sitting down and squishing we're squishing up and we're just getting over things. Usually there's a cig or two involved.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think they let them smoke on the boat maybe during working hours.
Well, they shouldn't because they would be out there all day just sucking down stokes. All right, so we have to get to a pretty important moment.
Part of the episode.
Yeah.
It's the
preference sheet meeting. We've got people from our home city coming to town.
Yeah.
Or coming to boat. Mm-hmm. And do you know anything about these guys and gals?
Didn't look them up.
T-shirt people.
T-shirt people. I almost wrote down what they do, but I was too lazy to do it. But anyway, they want
T-shirt people.
They want a bonfire, a seafood extravaganza, and they're going to do a circus-themed dinner.
Yeah. It's going to be wicked.
Oh, yeah.
And we get a little Sea Rat history.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, Dylan.
With
Lara. I don't know if she's hinted at her past at all.
She's a mystery.
But
go ahead.
In an enigma.
Yeah.
But the circus theme on this preference sheet triggers a memory and then thus gets us to some Sea Rat history. You're not going to believe this, but her dad took off when she was 2. Mom worked 3 jobs to feed the family.
Yeah.
And the circus, this is where the circus fits into this Sea Rat history, was some of the more happier times in her childhood in an otherwise dark period.
Yes.
Pretty run-of-the-mill Sea Rat sad story, 0 points on the sad scale. Just to give a reference point, if your sister was gunned down in a car after a drug deal gone bad, which has happened on this franchise, that's 2 points. So this one's a 0.
Can I tell you something? I think that you are way too strict on these sad scales.
Well, that's why I always try and help out. All right, so Lara
I quickly say, new people must be like, what am I listening to? Because if you were confused as to why I cackled like a demon when Pat said that her father abandoned her at the age of 2, it's important to note that it's just it's important to note that the humor comes from this being the 17th or 70th time we've heard this story, okay? Now, it doesn't make it any less tragic, case by case, but it is so funny.
Now, Dylan, your critique of me and my recapping of these Sea-Rat sad stories, and also the points that you assign. Yes. I always try and help out how they could upgrade in the point system.
Yeah.
So if, Lara, if your sister was stabbed by a clown, lost a big toe or something like that, that's half a point.
Right.
But right now, it's 0.
God, I can't even imagine. Do you have to get hit by like a nuclear weapon to get a 5? Like,
I've never thought like that grand, you know? But I mean, there's a score that big. It's just something crazy has to happen.
To be fair to you, Laura's story is pretty run of the mill, right?
That's right.
I would say that on my Sea-Rat's head scale, and I don't really, mine does not matter because we have one. But this would get into low decimals. Only maybe 0.00115.
You're gonna give it
something like that because of the differentiation with the circus, right? The circus adds a wrinkle of horror to this story, right? Because imagine that creepy fucking fucked up place being your only happy place, right? That's what like 8-legged freaks are born from, right? I'm not saying Laura is that, but it's still spooky.
Well, Dylan, your point is well taken. It's still a 0 on over here.
Okay, understand. All right, so Marmite versus Vegemite and Laura versus Tsarina.
Do you know what Vegemite is? Because I had a roommate, Nick, when I first moved to Hollywood.
Yeah.
We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment where we called it Tent City, Tarp City, because we all were living in there.
Yeah.
Nick was a roadie for a bunch of bands. That was my first
What
Australian.
was it like when people brought people home?
There were 2 Nicks, and they were both friends. One was American from Indiana. One was from Australia.
Oh,
They were buddies, and they would both bring home girls. And they would you just hear it, and you're like, oh, my God, again. But Nick would make Vegemite sandwiches.
Vegemite on toast.
Vegemite on toast. And I tried to give it a shot, but it's just bitter and
No, it's
salty.
an acquired taste. I think it's a derivative of yeast. It's some kind of awful
Malt
sludgy
and salt.
bloom. Yeah.
You know, I often wonder what other countries think about ketchup. Like Americans are splashing goddamn ketchup and ranch on everything. I wonder if other countries think that is just disgusting.
No, we're pretty much the best.
We are the best.
Yeah, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah, probably. Just if you look at all the metrics.
Right.
You know.
The data.
The raw data says we're the best.
Now, Dill, you glossed over one moment here. Captain Jason brings up that Marina being on service would be a good idea. This is still in the preference sheet meeting.
Oh,
and
yes.
Tsarina chimes in.
Yeah.
And says, I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
And that's throwing it in Lara's face.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. I mean, that you could cut the tension with a knife. Gosh, I really hope they work it out. But it looks like, it's been a year now and they haven't worked it out. So
No.
I don't know.
I think there's still some bad blood there.
Yeah, baby, now we got bad blood. Okay, so I zoomed all the way down. I'm doing bad with Google Docs today. I'm sorry.
So Lara and Tsarina chat. And Tsarina makes the case to stay in your department. And Lara says, because she's referring to Alicia apparently going to them. And it wasn't Alicia going to Lara to talk shit about Tsarina. It was Lara and Brianna getting her to come into the dorm room to then try and extract talking shit about Tsarina. So Lara, shame on you. You're a big liar there. We got you on film there, kid.
Well, Tsarina also is just like, if you wouldn't mind, like, please don't try to, turn my galley into a color revolution against me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really would appreciate if you didn't do that. And she was like, I can't believe you would ask me to do something like that, bitch.
Yeah.
And then she walks out. So it goes over well. Laura has another stick in her spoke, and that is Jason, that dickhead.
He will not leave it alone.
He's trying to break what isn't broken, and that is Marina seeing sunlight, okay? We do not need her to see the day. Lara wants to lock her to the dryer, and Jason wants to free her. Anyways, meanwhile,
Harry
gets promoted again.
Congratulations, Harry.
Lara orders a cheeky little gift, more on that at 5.
I want to know what because maybe I glossed over this. Did she lose her lipstick? What was so special about this?
She probably lost it.
Wow. The little things when you're out at sea and how meaningful they are. She was very touched by that gift.
Oh, little things just in general. Like, it's amazing. I don't know how this happens, but maybe I need to just grow up and get less sloppy, but like, let's say I get 10 pairs of boxer briefs. Over the course of 2 years, I'll have 2 pairs of boxer briefs. And it's like, how does that happen? Where do they go?
They fall apart when you put them in the washing machine, man.
No, it's more of a mystery. They're not thrown out. They vanish. Does that not happen to you?
No, but I do realize like sometimes my 2-year-old's like staring at me as I'm sitting on the couch eating cereal in the morning. And I realize there's a tear in the lower part of my boxers and he's staring at my balls.
Yeah.
And then my wife just shakes her head in disgust.
Yeah.
She's like, you need to start wearing shorts now. The kids are getting of a certain age.
No,
you can
like,
see her balls.
Yeah.
Oh. It's really nice though. The window's cracked in the morning. The breeze is coming through.
Yeah. Do you think you're trying to like teach him like this is what you could be, or is it kind of an alpha move?
No, not at all. I'm unaware that my boxers are falling apart.
Yeah. It does, I would imagine, really keep him in fucking line though. You know what I mean? I mean, he's looking up at these balls.
Look at these.
You know,
you can have these too when you're
but
old.
not for a while. You know, you're tiny. You're a tiny little person. Okay. The charter guests get here. A couple of larrikins. What is larrikin?
I have no idea. You want me to look it up?
I'll look it up. You vamp.
Okay.
Because they threw the definition up on the screen. Shame
Really?
on us.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it an Australian thing?
It's like a fucking American that you like or something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, a couple of them have mutton chops, which is a late 60s thing that should never be brought back. It's
a boisterous, often badly behaved young man.
there you go. Well, we probably had a couple of those on.
A person with apparent disregard for convention. A maverick. John McCain.
Ooh.
Larrikin. Go ahead, try to wave to me. You can't.
I don't know how good a pilot he was. He got shot out of the air.
Go ahead, try to lift it. Now the other one. Okay.
All right. I always say this, but Dylan didn't live it. He was probably a baby at this time.
Yeah.
The mutton chops go along with the 80s woman's hair, which were perms and also horrible 80s fashion. I'm watching old movies with my daughter now. We just watched Adventures in Babysitting. I'm not sure if that's in your lexicon of film as a child.
Is that Christina Applegate?
Great thing. No, it's that girl that was in Karate Kid. I forget what her name is.
Hilary Swank.
No.
You're talking about Hilary Swank?
No, the girl that was in Karate Kid. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Everyone in that movie had goofy hair. The 80s suck, and so do mutton chops.
To give credit to women.
Elizabeth Shue.
Elizabeth Shue. Wow. You know what Elizabeth Shue's in? The Saint.
She is in that. You know what? She's also in Kevin Bacon's in it. It's like a version of The Invisible Man.
Hollow Man.
Hollow Man. Don't sleep on that.
No, do.
You think sleep on that?
What happened to Elizabeth Shue? What happened to her?
I think she was in something recently. I happen to know that she's not well liked on sets. She can be allegedly pretty not pleasant.
Well, you get a reputation like that in Hollywood, and you're really going to get blacklisted.
That's right. Boat D-Docks. Harry teaches Nick to drop the anchor. I didn't understand what was happening here.
Hang on 1 second. I want to circle back. I want to give credit to women because they're like, no, that's no longer a thing.
What?
They drop the dresses, they drop the perms, and we move on. I don't see any of that 80s stuff walking around.
Oh, no. I bring it up constantly because I never want it to come back.
I know, but you still see guys walking around with mutton chops.
Yes.
And I'm confused. Like, has anyone ever pulled that off?
Elvis.
It
was weird. I think that was the height of his drug addiction.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really sweaty?
Sweating, fat, bloated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lot coming out. Lot seeping out.
Doing a little kung fu move on stage.
Yeah. You know that peanut butter and jelly sandwich he used to eat,
With
right?
bananas.
And bacon. I mean, what a pig.
You know, when you've had it all, you
Yeah.
just got to push the boundaries.
Yep, exactly. Okay.
I'll eat ants.
Meatloaf had mutton chops, right?
I hate that guy. When he was dead, I was like, good. He was such a dickhead to me.
Okay. But he did have mutton chops, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Pat is not a fan of Meatloaf.
Hi, meat. Oh, you're dead. Whoops.
Was that his? It was short. You would call him meat.
Well, I thought I could.
He didn't. He didn't like that.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. You know, these celebs. You know, they can't take a freaking. You know, it's just like cool down a little.
Well,
bit.
it was at a time that there weren't so many famous people. Like they thought they were so special. They thought they were like kings and queens when they'd walk into a studio. Yeah. Everyone needed to bow to them. I'm glad those times are long gone.
I think I've told the story about my brother used to manage the Echoplex and Beck.
Oh yeah, he's a notorious asshole.
Beck developed a fear of ramps as he got through his career. Okay. So he refused to walk up ramps or something.
You have to be carried.
And it was just like, were you afraid of ramps when you were like 20 years old?
No. That's what happens. You just start hating everything and everybody, and then you start doing things like that.
Yeah. No, it's tough. All right. Well, anyways, yeah. I mean, wouldn't wish it on my. I'm a loser, baby. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we get to this anchor thing with Nick. Now, I guess they're not doing the radio properly, and this anchor goes down because it's Harry trying to teach Nick how to drop anchor. And he goes radio silent. Jason, I think Captain Jason gets kind of pissed. I was wondering, Dylan, because this anchor thing scares me because it's that loose chain just kind of flying down.
Just rip everything off your body.
So, of course, I had to ask my phone. I asked it, how many people die a year caused by an anchor? And here's the answer it gave me. Yeah. It's difficult to provide a precise number of deaths.
Can I really quickly ask what robot you're talking to?
Well, I just go on my phone.
You're talking to Siri.
Yeah, Siri, how many people die a year from an anchor? And Siri said, it's difficult to provide a precise number of deaths directly attributable to anchors in maritime situations, as many factors contribute to maritime deaths. However, hundreds of deaths occur at sea and during maritime operations each year, and some of these may be related to an anchor. So an anchor does kill some people. It was good to hear. Felt so foolish doing that search.
TLDR, a couple.
A couple.
Yeah.
It's got to be ugly. Because you got to be asking yourself, this anchor that just ripped that guy's fucking head off, it costs like $3,000.
Yeah.
I know, but his arm's in there. I know, but we just clean the arm out. We got to reuse the anchor.
No, it's like...
We got to replace the anchor?
So it's complete Final Destination. I mean, imagine a wood chipper, but there's no blades. It's just pure fucking smush, right? And you do, what are you going to do? Not use the chain? Get the freaking shit you use for the railing and mop that dead body off that chain. We got to haul it up. It's a brutal business. Brutal business. All right, so Nick the nerd does not attach it well. It falls down. Harry's not on the radio. He says, I've just become a late deckhand and I've bungled it. But the boys rub each other down a bit, and we get ready to head to the beach. Can I tell you something? I miss the disastrous beach setups.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like and I don't mean we're not speaking correctly to one another. I mean
wild animals.
There are needles where they're supposed to be eating brie,
I miss that too.
Back. It's so fun. So Harry didn't have the radio in his hands because his hands were full. Couple of bros, him and Jason, just broing out. Tsarina and Alicia, they cling shit strings out of shrimp, and
they call it deveining.
Yeah, deveining, and I'm happy for that because
me too.
That really does soften it, and we could just say deveining.
Yeah, when I worked at Weathervane Seafoods, I had to do that.
Yeah. I feel like we need a T-shirt when I worked at Weathervane Seafoods. Or just, was that the one with did it have a squid on top?
No, it had a weathervane.
A weathervane, that's right. But was the weathervane, was it a rooster or was it an aquatic something.
Oh, no, that's funny you mentioned that. It might have been a rooster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually are, but I didn't know if they just had a flair for the dramatic. But
They
anyways,
sold their franchise off to Legal Seafood.
Legal Seafood?
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad name.
I think so, but it survived the test of time.
Legal Seafood.
Mm-hmm. Very popular in Boston.
Very popular. So Nick the nerd calls Tsarina, or no, he calls Marina the Jean Grey to his Professor X. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of creepy, right?
Yeah, that those two never mix it up. If you know what I mean.
It's kind of like adoptive daughter kind of thing. Like one's like a hot young bird, and the other one is like a cripple.
Yeah.
Who's like old.
Who's the guy that couldn't see wearing that? He should have said he was that guy. The James
Cyclops.
Cyclops, yeah.
Yeah.
He's fucking it up. I don't know what kind of nerd he is.
Yeah.
I want to check his nerd credentials.
Yeah, this guy's not a nerd. He's just not. So Bree stays back and makes marshmallows while Adair gets sand in her butt crack. And that's what she said. Okay. When was the last time you went to the beach?
Went to Paradise Cove last year with the kids and
The
another
kids,
family.
the kids really want. Kids need to go to the beach, evidently,
You
if the
have
beach
to.
is there.
Mm-hmm. It's very important. It's a staple in a summer vacation with a family because when the kids go back to school, every kid's going to brag about, I went to the beach or I went on vacation. And the teachers tell you that. They go, when the kids come back from summer break, they don't say, Mommy and Daddy bought me all these presents and this and that. They say,
Yeah.
I went with Grammy and Grampy and Uncle Barry and Auntie Evie, and we went to the beach and we hung out all day.
Teachers get a little preachy, don't they?
Yeah, I appreciate it, though, because I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? I didn't read any of those fancy books about parenting.
All right, so Alicia is tasked with chucking oysters. That's a horrible idea from Tsarina, I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
She says it's unbelievably difficult, and Alicia's like, I can figure it out. 5 minutes later, she's got a fucking knife in the side of her hand, and she's just gnarled these oysters to pieces. It's just not a good idea. Alicia then starts to flirt a lot a bit with the epaulets of Nate Dogg. These two they're really smitten for one another.
Mm-hmm.
But we get to the dinner. It's a seafood extravaganza.
Oh, yes.
We've got white, we've got red, and we've got all the water bugs you can imagine, okay?
We also have a little small talk from the guest, Dylan, and the subject was stories of strippers using their coochies as flamethrowers.
Yeah.
As dangerous as it sounds, I'd like to see it.
I got to tell you, these T-shirt people have some wild stories.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stories that they swapped over meals, I couldn't believe my ears or my eyes. Okay, so we've got lobsters, prawns, oysters, crab pasta, scallops. The oysters are... she goes, do you know where you source the oysters? And she's like, they're local.
I think they're
Yeah,
local.
they're local.
I think so.
And fresh, let me tell you. Oh, my God. We have some fried mussels. The ladies knocked it out of the park. This
They
is
did,
an
right?
88-pot dinner. If you love sea bugs, if you love a raw bar, one of the most overpriced things in the culinary world. I mean, you'd get a raw bar. Holy smokes.
A question, Dylan. Was there any carbohydrates on that table?
Crab pasta.
Okay.
Crab pasta. An odd plating of it. The legs kind of left intact, hidden under a canopy of spaghetti. 83 pots,
83
actually.
deduction.
Yeah,
Major
83,
deduction there.
Yeah.
Sloppily plated.
I would say that's a fairly major deduction. All right, so we get to Elisa, who gets to kind of, what do you call when they go up with their blowhole and like,
Oh, God, what is that called?
is it breaching?
Breaching.
Yeah. So Alicia gets to breach, right? And she's on cloud nine.
Are we talking about, because she gets the honors of sharing with the paying guests what they're dining on tonight.
Yes.
What an honor that is.
Yeah. No, it's a big deal for Alicia. She says those are a little spicy. These are a little bit more tame. And she's riding a high because she's part of the experience. So I get that. She's on a further jaunt up when Lara gives her a gift.
Dylan, I have to ask you this, and women are way better at this than I to
Get in the
detect these
comments.
things. Was this, in fact, more about sharing a gift with someone to show that you care about them, or was this to stab Tsarina over and over again because she has so much attention being paid to her subordinate?
Yeah.
Women are very complicated.
Oh, yeah, they're so complicated. Hey, can I tell you something? I don't even get them.
You don't either.
No way, man.
Me neither, man.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-mm.
I got no freaking clue.
I miss guy roommates. I got them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Daniel, you're just going to sit down on the couch all day and smoke weed and watch Frasier?
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Your life is going nowhere, but you make me laugh.
It's a beast, we know.
That's right.
But I honestly don't know what this is. I found myself at times giving her credit, the benefit of the doubt, and I found myself at times being, feeling a very insidious feeling in my body because this is a layer of blades, right? One, who's to say what the true motive is, right? It's a very opaque gesture. But two, what are you going to do? Go up to her and go, I see what you're doing? You can't do that.
You can't do it.
You can't do that.
Well, that's why it's Machiavellian.
Machiavellian. Laura may be evil.
I think Tsarina was kind of alluding to that during the interview.
Yeah.
Go listen to that, by the way.
Who do you think's more evil, Janet or Laura?
Ooh, a lot of people hate Janet.
Yeah. People see it.
From the Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's probably Janet. All right. So Alicia's super happy. She's tickling Harry's tummy, and that's how happy she is. And the guests...
We go to bed. We didn't even see him.
Yeah, the guests say their good nights. Adairs is becoming the queen of the turn down. She's barking orders at Brie. I think
she's scrub mummy.
Yeah, she's scrub mummy. Do you have one of those?
What?
A scrub mummy?
What's that?
Well, you know Scrub Daddy.
Scrub Daddy?
You know Scrub Daddy?
No. What's Scrub Daddy?
Oh my gosh! Only one of the most successful pitches on Shark Tank ever.
Oh, really? Clean a toilet?
Scrub. It's a scrub with a happy face in it.
Uh-huh.
And you can slot a spoon through the mouth.
Oh.
And when it's cold, it's hard, and when it's warm, it's soft.
Oh my God.
It cleans very easily.
I'm going to go to Costco tomorrow and buy one.
Well, Costco has the family pack, right? Because Scrub Daddy has expanded. He's fallen in love, and he has sired children. There is a scrub mommy. There is a scrub baby.
Scrub baby, huh?
Yeah. So Adairs is the scrub mommy, but she's also the weird one.
Yeah.
I think she's just fully, like, without the Weon storyline, she's just fully transformed into the weird one.
Some deckies just work on the boat. You know?
Yeah. They're just kind of there.
Yeah.
They're not
She's
quite
that.
engineers, but they are the weird one. So night done, great night done. Imagine sleeping next. We talked about sleeping next to your enemy. These two, well, I mean, I don't even know.
It's not comfortable.
So the next day, the swell is very, very bad.
I felt like I was on sailing.
That's what I said. Because, any of you nautical know-it-alls out there, let us know. I thought the guests handled this so well because if it was me, I would have been like, hey, get out of here.
Get us out of here.
Why do they have to sit in that swell all the time, all like that?
Barfing my brains out.
Yeah, I mean, there are muffins flying everywhere.
What was shocking is they were doing the water toys, and then all of a sudden, it was like a tsunami arrived.
Yeah. Absolutely nuts stuff. And even crazier, I think over breakfast, there's some pork dish. There's some pork dish. It's a chorizo thing going on. Chorizo and eggs. Can you believe that people line their stomachs with that in the morning? It's so spicy.
So gross. I watch people eat those things at breakfast places. You don't want to just eat some scrambled eggs and some toast, huh? You're going to leave this place and continue on your day?
Dude, it's so crazy. My dad, he lives in Virginia, so he doesn't get any good Mexican food. And he gets very hungry in the morning, so he'll go and he'll eat this chorizo and egg shit. And of course he's in the bathroom like 4 hours later. Just, oh my God.
They do it despite they know what the future holds.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I did want to mention at breakfast, the guys continue with their crazy T-shirt stories. He says, it was one of the fattest stories I've ever heard. He was like, I woke up in the middle of the night with Baker's chocolate in my mouth. Everybody's like, whoa.
What's that mean?
Okay, so they're going to try to reposition the boat. And at the end, Tsarina tells, oh, well, no, they're not trying to reposition the boat. The wind just comes in. But the last thing is that Tsarina tells Alicia that she might turn into a cook/stew if she's not careful with Lara. Careful now. You know, she might become the thing that you so despise. Get in the comments. Let us know what you thought about the episode. 5 stars, kind words. I said I'd do a review. We need to do a review, Pat say. Thank you for stuff.
Oh, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting us via patreon.com/anotherpodcast network.
Yep. That's actually really good.
I hope we have a good episode while Dylan's pulling up these reviews of the Valley this week.
Yeah.
Because, oof, did that take a turn for the ugly. We mentioned it at the top of the show. I don't ever want an episode like that again.
Well, speaking of, this is titled Split Custodies by Christina. Split Custodies and is an amazing.
Is our potential rating system for us.
Yeah, love you guys. Also, Pat is my new favorite of all. Thank you so much for the 5 stars, the kind words. Keep them coming. Hey, ka-ching. Let's get up to it. 2,000. Let's do it.
Help us out.
Okay, get in there. We love you guys. See you next week. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Pat, say goodbye.
Later, dudes.
Okay.